Yeah, I'm just gonna get wild. Second Titan into play. Who cares about searching? We don't need to search our library. Are you insane? This is a 6/6 Trampler. Colossal Dreadmaw coming through. Alright, guys. We are here for the 5th and final match with our budget 50 ticks amulet list here. We are currently 1-3. Not the most amazing record. Let me know what you think about our previous matches and this match in the comments below. And if you haven't seen the previous matches, then you need to check out match 1, because that's where I go into detail about the deck list that you see on screen here, as well as a few other deck lists. 30 ticks budget amulet list and a 100 ticks budget amulet list. Today we're playing the 50 ticks one that I put together. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the games. Alright, we have found a match. On the play against Javip V. We have another hand that is just barely not able to play turn 1 Amulet, but we can cycle Explore on turn 2 after we play our Amulet and see what we can find. Pack for Azusa lets us, with Garenbrig, potentially cast Titan on turn 3, so we're definitely going to keep this. We'll lead on Garenbrig and pass it back. Any land source off the top is good here. That lets us just play a turn 3 Titan, so any land is good. Explore. That might be a land. Let's play our Amulet. We'll explore once. Keeping bounce land in hand, of course. Alright, we'll explore twice. If you don't at first succeed, then try and try again. Land? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So we do have a turn 3 Titan here. Of course, that is by nature of playing Simic Growth Chamber, floating 3. Ooh. Never mind. Leon and Arbiter has different plans for us. Actually, no. We do have a turn 3 Titan. We can't search with it. But that might be okay. I mean, I'm jamming Titan. I don't care what you tell me here. We have a backup Titan and everything, so yeah, let's pick up the Growth Chamber here. Grazer. Growth Chamber yet again. Can't search, but at least putting a 6/6 into play is something that our opponent can't ignore. And I guess we pick up the Growth Chamber? Sure. Can't search, but if our Titan stays alive, we can pay 2 to the Arbiter and search before, or like pay 2 to the Arbiter before we attack, and then attack with Titan to search for 2 lands and set up mana that way. Our opponent, I guess, needs to have like a Skyclave Apparition for a Titan or something, which also feels awful for them, because if we ever kill it, we get a 6/6 creature, so they could have Path also. So if they like Field Ruin us and Path our Titan, then we might be in quite a bit of trouble. Not much we can do to play around that, though. Except just put our hand on the table and ask our opponent if they have the answer. Skyclave Apparition. Alright, well... Oh, they're... What? They hit the Amulet. Excuse me? That feels a lot like a misclick, but don't mind me, I guess. I mean, we're absolutely paying for Arbiter and crashing in with the team. Alright. Let's get a breeding pool. Oh, wait, we don't have a breeding pool. Let's get... I guess another Garenbrig and a Tolaria West. Feels pretty good. Sure. We can also Summoner's Pact right now. If we do so, and our opponent has a Ghost Quarter in hand, then we just lose, because they pay 2, Field to Ruin us, we can't search, and then they Ghost Quarter our land. I guess we don't want to lose to that, so let's not. I don't want to give them a nice, juicy target for their Field of Ruin either by playing out the Growth Chamber, so let's just wait on that one. Don't know why our opponent would choose not to hit our Titan, but... I mean, I guess they have a plan for the Titan. They just wanted to make sure we couldn't double strike it or something. This turn that we just played. I don't know. Beats me. No Ghost Quarter. Second Arbiter, huh? Well, we can't actually just go pay for both and attack. Third Arbiter. Okay. Goodness. Ooh. Can we use Garenbrig to pay for all 3 Arbiters? I think we can. And I think we probably should, too. If we can't, then I think I can use Control Z to undo the floating of the mana, but I just gotta see. Alright, cancel. No, we can't. Alright, well, let's unfloat the mana. So that doesn't work. Never seen that interaction before. But this says to activate abilities of creatures. I guess this isn't an activated ability. It's just something that we would have to pay. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Well, I mean, I guess we're playing our Growth Chamber, and I think we swing with Titan anyways. We can play Azusa Growth Chamber and be able to pay for 1 Arbiter. That way, if they go block with the Skyclave, block with the 2 Leonin Arbiters, we can still pay for 1 Arbiter if they Field Ruin us. I mean, that's our only play, so I guess we're doing it. Maybe we do it post-combat here, though, so they don't have as much information. We'll attack. Trigger's fine. We're not planning on searching this time. They can trade with the Titan if they want. They don't want to. Do we slam another Titan? We don't have a whole lot of land drops to play with Azusa here. And we just expose our Growth Chamber to the Field of Ruin anyways. I think we just jam another Titan. Yeah, I'm just gonna get wild. Second Titan into play. Who cares about searching? We don't need to search our library. Are you insane? This is a 6/6 Trampler. Colossal Dreadmaw coming through. Let's hope our opponent doesn't play blue and the Deputy of Detention to hit both of our Titans. That would be pretty awkward. I mean, our opponent has to deal with these 6/6s if they're going to lose to them. They're at 7, so the 6 damage adds up. Very glad that we pay the 2 and attack with Titan when we did. That's the only reason we're able to function right now. They draw with Canopy. It's a great sign. Even if they do just, like, sacrifice their whole board to get a Titan out of play, like, let's say they path 1 and then sacrifice their board after 1 attacks, then we can still just, like, pay 2, pack for another Titan, and probably not cast it the same turn, but that's alright. Oath of Nissa. Finding Temple Garden. Interesting. Also, our opponent did reveal Yorion. I'm super bad about noticing companion reveals, but that's why our opponent has 66 cards in deck. This actually, the green splash is what reminded me. I believe, is it Spider Space has been playing a list with a green in their Taxes deck? I don't know. And they've drawn 3 Arbiters out of their 80 cards. That's interesting as well. Okay, well, I guess we're just swinging in with double Titans and forcing them to triple block 1 and then doing stuff after. What happens if we pay to search for 1 Titan? Nothing really. No, not 1 Titan. Pay to search with 1 Arbiter. It still doesn't matter. Alright, yeah, let's just swing in with the crew. And then maybe pay 2 and Summer's Pact 4 and play a Dryad. Let's just go ahead and yield to these Titan triggers. Don't need to search. Who needs to search? Not me. Didn't want to search anyways. Did not. They're blocking with all of the Arbiters? Cool. I'll take this free value that we're getting here. Goodbye, Leonin Arbiter. Now what? Pack for Dryad, play it. Float blue. Nothing we can do there. Pack for Titan, play it. Search for 2 lands. Doesn't do much either. I guess packing for Titan and playing it, searching for Valakut and something else. It's pretty decent. We would need to play around the 5th... No, not the 5th. The 4th Leonin Arbiter. And... actually, they could only Field of Ruin us once. So I think we're clear to play another Titan. Alright, that's what I'm doing. Let's get our search triggers now while we can. I refuse to believe our opponent is playing Blood Moon in their green-white deck. Could be possible. Highly doubt it. Alright, yep. So let's get Valakut, and the other one doesn't matter that much. Don't think we need a 5th green source. Maybe just double Valakut is good. Sure, let's get double Valakut. We can even play Growth Chamber here. I don't know if we want to. Let's not. This way, if our opponent somehow finds a way to not be dead, then we'll be able to just summon his pack 4 and play Dryad after paying 4 and just kill our opponent with Valakut triggers. So, pretty cool, pretty cool. Stoneforge Mystic. You got it. Not sure what our opponent could search for. They fail to find with their Stoneforge. That's nice. That is nice. Let's just tap our mana like this. Probably doesn't matter. Let's pact for a Dryad, I suppose. Play the Dryad. Play Tolaria West. And send some triggers up to them. Not going to bother targeting their board. No point. Always yes, always yes, always yield. Let's just do the appropriate thing and kill our opponent. Alright. So we have another game here. We want these Abrades, and we want these Fire Spouts for sure. Wilt and Reclamation Sage are good for hitting our opponent's artifacts. Wilt especially because you can cycle it if you're facing down a board of Leonin Arbiters and Thalias and stuff like that, and no artifacts and enchantments. Our opponent also has Vial, so these cards are going to be quite good there. I quite like a Mammoth, actually, as a cheap way to get on the board. We can trim a couple of Grazers, although Grazer is pretty good. Definitely trimming on Summoner's Packs, at least 2 of those. Want a couple to search for with our Tolaria Wests, if we have the ability. Actually, maybe we could even go down to 1 pack. I don't know, though. Impulse gets hit by our opponent's Thalias, and Explore is a little slow as well for the same reason. Yeah, I feel comfortable trimming down, maybe even all the way on Explore. Is that crazy? I don't think that's crazy. Alright, let's submit like this. Well, we have a Wilt hand, and we get a turn 1 Amulet, so... I mean, I'm keeping. Our opponent has revealed their Yorion yet again. Not surprised there. Play one of the Pathway lands. Very nice, very nice. I like the Pathway lands a lot. And I guess we're playing out the Sunhome, because if they do want to do something to our land, I'd much rather have the haste land available than the double strike. The haste is far more relevant oftentimes. I mean, if we're searching when our Titan comes into play, I would like to be able to search when it attacks also. That's just me, though. And we do have a nice little Abrade target here. Not Abrade. Well, I mean, I guess it is an Abrade target, but Wilt target. For our turn 2, we can just play Garenbrig Wilt and then see where we can go from there. If we top deck Leonin Arbiter. That one's kind of nasty. Red land. No red land. I guess we're wilting. Definitely got to get this Vial out of play. Cast on that one. Goodbye, Aether Vial. Do not miss you. Our 1-drop artifact is fine. Your 1-drop artifact is not. Get out of here. Very glad our opponent doesn't have a Ghost Quarter or something akin to that here. Ugh. I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have said anything. Now they get our 1-drop artifact. Whew. Okay. Azusa? Dryad? Either? Grazer? That one's not really what I was anticipating, but I mean, I guess we'll play it. And I think as much as it exposes us to a Ghost Quarter or Field of Ruin effect, we just have to get this Growth Chamber in play. I hate every little bit of doing this, but I just think it's the correct move. And I'm going to leave all our green sources in play and just get some Radiant Fountain value here. Yep. I guess we could have played the Fountain and then Brazered in the Growth Chamber to pick up the Radiant and left the Sunhome in play. And that would have been basically the same, but we would be at 2 more life. Don't know if that would be relevant or not. We'll block. Don't Ghost Quarter us. Don't Ghost Quarter us. Just don't do it. You don't want to use a Ghost Quarter. No Field Ruin. That's fine. That's fine. Oof. All the vials. Okay. Well. Okay. Sadly, we can't cast Titan here, as we don't have the green sources to activate Garenbrig. So I guess we're just using Vesuva to copy our opponent's Temple Garden. Can't pay the life as it would intertapped anyways. And I mean, yeah, that's what we got. Getting a little punished for our red splash here since we actually just can't cast this spell at all. It would basically have to hit this Giver of Runes anyways, though. That very turn, we could have gotten the Arbiter out of play if we wanted to, if we had a red source, but from now on, it's Giver or nothing. I guess Giver can't protect their vials if we wanted to hit a vial with a Braid, but I don't know about that. It is relevant if they put like a Sword of Feast and Famine or something into play. We'll block one of their 2/2s. Braves are doing tons of work, ramping us a land and also now gaining us 4 life, at least. If it gets to block again, it'll be even more. They put Yorion in hand. Love to see that. Dryad. Well, we could play Dryad and a Braid. Or we could just play Land Titan. I think Land Titan is better, so I guess if our opponent has Skyclave, we'd rather them hit the... Would we rather them hit the Dryad? It's a good question. If our Titan stays in play, I guess if we play Dryad and play land, the next turn we can pay to the Arbiter, play Titan and search, and then set up Valcuts for the Dryad. And also we get to abrade this Giver out of play so they can't protect their creatures, so I guess it's just marginally correct to play the Dryad here. Not super thrilled with it, but we'll do it. And I guess we just abrade now. 3 damage to the Giver. Floating red using the Dryad ability, of course. Alright. Titan next turn with Valcut triggers. What you got to say about it, opponent? They're intelligently protecting their Arbiter in case we had some other effect at sorcery speed that we wanted to cast to kill it. I don't know what effect that would be, but I mean, it's whatever. And we can even pay 2 to play around their Arbiter if they have a Ghost Quarter effect here, so not weak to that one anymore. Alright, we'll just see what the top of our opponent's deck has for us. You know they have Yorion in hand now. A little too late to cast that one. When they do cast it, they'll get to flicker their Skyclave and give us a 1/1 in exchange for some other card we put on the battlefield. Unless we kill the Skyclave first. Knight of Autumn to kill our Dryad. That's very good. That is very good. So if our opponent has a land here, they get to flicker the Skyclave and get rid of our Titan. After we play it, of course. But I think we do have to play it. Probably just getting Talari West and Bounce Land. I mean, it'll take us years to get to another Titan. If we do that. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't. See what we draw. Fire Spout, eh? That one has good written all over it if we can just get to casting it. If we can fade a land from our opponent, then our Titan can set up Valcut and some other land. Or we can pay 2, play our Titan, get... Nah, Crumbling Vestige and Bounce Land only gives us 2 mana, sadly. Can't do that one. Let's see. It'll do 3 damage to each creature with flying if we only use green. So that hits none of our opponent's creatures, which is kind of tragic. I mean, yeah, we got to pay for our opponent's Arbiter, I think, and cast Titan. Don't know what else we would be doing here otherwise, so here it comes. The only real decision is, do we set up a second Titan by getting Simic Growth Chamber and Talari West? Or do we get... I suppose, actually, we can do both. If we get Gruul Turf and Talari West and pick up the Vesuva. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds way better. So we'll get Gruul Turf and Talari West. Leave both our blue sources in play. And reset our quote-unquote Temple Garden here. Do we play it now? I guess we do. We'll just immediately copy Growth Chamber and pick up our T-West before anything unsightly can happen to it. Pass it back. Alright, so now we have Fire Spout ready to go, even if our opponent does commit an answer to our Titan here. If they don't have the land, they might have to commit another apparition to the board. And if they do have a land, they're spending their whole turn to cast Yorion. I guess they, like, put 2 counters on the knight, and then it'll still die to Fire Spout. So Fire Spout looking like it might be clutching the game here. We'll see. They draw with Canopy. Oh my. Oh my. Alright. Curious. They pass it back. We draw Summoner's Pact, huh? Well, let's start by Fire Spouting the board. I think that is a pretty good start. Actually, is that a good start? Because they can violate creatures at instant speed to interact. Maybe we Summoner's Pact first? That seems loose, though, if our opponent has a Skyclave. They can then just eat one of our threats here. I guess we do start by just using up this Fire Spout. I think this is good enough to cast it. Our opponent is in the think tank over there. They don't know what to do. If they did have to put in a Skyclave to answer our Titan, then we could pack for another Titan and put it into play. And we know our opponent can't get Yorion into play anytime soon. I guess in 2 turns they can with Vial, but that might be a little too late. They just let it go. Okay. We get our 1-1. Alright. Now do we pact for the Dryad to make them have the path? I think that we do. Yeah, let's go for it. Into play. We could even haste the Dryad and attack with it, but I don't really see the point in that. Probably transmuting Tolaria West is going to be a better effect here. Or even just playing the Tolaria West as a land if we have lethal on them with Valcut. So, we'll swing. Not really sure what our opponent could have here. I guess they could flash in a creature to block the Titan after these Valcut triggers resolve and then trade with the Titan. That could be good. Like a Flicker Wisp or something. Flicker our token, block and trade with Titan, take 5, go to 10. They might just be dead if they do that, in all honesty, so I don't know. I guess there's some argument to using Stronghold for the +2/+0 Vigilance, but I don't think that matters, really. I think having the freedom to transmute Tolaria West in our second main phase, depending on what our opponent does here, is probably better. Alright, let's search. Double Valcut seems fine since we have Tolaria West ready to go. So let's just not save targets, but just point all of these very patiently up at our opponent. Always yes. Always yes. Always yield. See if our opponent's just dead to lethal here, or what's going on. They have a Vial on 3. Sure. I assume they have to Skyclave away the Dryad, or they're just dead. Oh, Flicker Wisp. Oh, that stops the Dryad triggers, since they get to flicker the Dryad until end of turn here. Interesting. And they get to trade with our Titan at the expense of 5 damage to the face. I did call the Flicker Wisp, by the way. I don't think that we care too much about this. Oh, we can't transmute Tolaria West either, because of the way our mana is tapped. Maybe tapped wrong somewhere down the line. Okay. Alright, yeah, we're done. Give me that Dryad back. Heck yeah. End of play. I mean, they have to deal with Dryad plus Valcut here. Ooh, do they have a Containment Priest too? Stoneforge, okay. Well, they can make us discard our Tolaria West if they get the Feast and Famine. If we top deck a bounce land, they're just dead, assuming they don't have an answer for the Dryad. Otherwise, we could be in some trouble here. We've only used this one Tolaria West, so we still have a second Tolaria West to search for if we do manage to get a Titan into play. Vial triggers. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, they search for Batterskull. That's the artifact they chose, really? Okay. They probably just have the other one in hand. Or maybe they knew they couldn't equip and attack with the sorted up Stoneforge here anyway, so they're activating the vial. See what 3-drop they got. They have another Skyclave. Oh, goodness. Alright, well, let's just hope that they can't stop us from getting another Titan into play and attacking. That is the hope. Alright, let's pay some mana here. Man, this is awkward because we need our green mana from the growth... our blue mana from the growth chamber, so we actually have to tap the Garanbri here. Feels horrendous, but we'll do it. Yep. I guess that means... Oh, we just draw the Titan. That's great. So we play Dryad. Green, 1, 2. Oh, wait, we can't activate Garanbri because it's tapped. So no, we can't Dryad and Titan. Don't know if it makes any sense to transmute here. See, we can tap this mana and then get Crumbling Vestige and something else and haste our Titan. Or we can leave the blue float and get Crumbling Vestige and transmute Tolaria West. So Crumbling Vestige and a bounce land seems good. Yeah, I think that's the best play. Plays around our opponent having a lot of answers. Yeah. Leave the blue floating. Crumbling Vestige is the plan here. The all-star. Yep. Crumbling Vestige, and then just any bounce land. Let's take a growth chamber. We'll float, I guess, a blue with this one. And we'll pick up the Vesuva. This also means that we have a land to discard if our opponent does have Sword of Feast and Famine in their hand. And with this, we want the last remaining Summoner's Pact. Thank goodness we didn't sideboard out more than 2. And yeah, we're done. Alright, you have to beat the Titan in play, and the Dryad/Titan that's in our hand. And that's not even our last Tolaria West, if I'm not mistaken. Nah, it's not. Alright, they put in the Batterskull. This is to be expected. They can't... Oh, they can use Yorion here at instant speed thanks to Vial. Quite awkward for us. They leave one at 3 and take the other one up to 5 for Yorion, of course. Alright. It would be nice if we got back our Dryad if they Yorioned away the Skyclave, but instead we get a 3/3 token, which is significantly worse than a Dryad. Of course, that's why the card Skyclave Apparition is good. That's a lot of text. Alright, I've stared at that for long enough. If you want to read it, then go pause it. Alright, opponent. Man, we also have to figure out how to play around what our opponent has. We know one of their cards is Yorion. And they can blink their Skyclave at instant speed with the Yorion. Does Yorion return them at instep, or what? Yeah, they return at instep. So if they exile their Skyclave, they don't get the trigger until instep. So they have to Yorion now, or they're not getting a Skyclave trigger. Which I imagine can't be the best thing in the world for them. So... And they can't attack with their Germ here, because otherwise we get to block. And I absolutely will snap off a block. Yep. Well, they're not putting in Yorion, so... Sure. Now what? And they played a land, which actually seems pretty odd to me. If we just pack for Dryad, they're probably dead. And their Yorion returns to instep, so exiling the Skyclave doesn't do anything to help that. They would have to have exactly Path to Exile. So I guess we go to combat and attack. Nah, actually, we don't want them to gain the life first, so let's pack now, I guess. Alright, Path to Exile or bust. Or I guess Aven Mind Sensor would be good too. Or maybe a second Skyclave, who knows. We got the Dryad in hand. Is that what we want to go for? We can also get Titan, play it, and then get Talari West and transmute. Let's see. If we played Titan, that would be 1, 2. We leave a blue floating, activate 1, 1, 2, 3. So 3 transmute, green floating. We can still play Dryad after all of that. That seems like it's probably the best play. Leaves a lot of our mana tapped, but I think it's... We do have a Talari West. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. Leave the blue floating for transmuting. Play the Titan. Yep. This just gives us an additional threat if they happen to have the answer to both of these things, which I don't know is physically possible. We'll find out. All right, we pick up the Talari West here. We're going to have 2 Summoners packs to pay for, but I think we can probably manage that. We have enough green lands, even through a Field of Ruin effect, so... And that would be assuming that we can't search, and we do just have basic forest we can get, and a Garenbrig that we can play for turn, which we're about to play as soon as our Dryad comes into play, probably. Probably the Vesuva copying Valakut first, and then the Garenbrig, but... What is our opponent contemplating here? Of course, we have to do all this before combat, because we can get Valakut triggers off of our Titan attacking and putting lands into play, if our Dryad is still in play by then. And also, we don't want them to have gained 4 life so that we can't just deal lethal damage to them with the Dryad, so... Don't know what our opponent's waiting on here. I guess they're trying to properly time whatever their interaction they have. I mean, they just have Yorion and an Unknown, so... Alright, we pick up the TUS here. Leave the green floating. Transmute. You know what? We don't have a 3rd Summoners Pact. We don't have it. Oh, that is a huge mistake. That is a huge mistake. We can instead transmute for Crumbling Vestige and then haste the new Titan and attack with both. Man, that mistake is gigantic, though. Yeah, we don't have a choice but to just transmute for Crumbling Vestige here. That is awkward as heck, though. I even joked about the fact that we didn't side out more than 2 Summoners Packs, but apparently we needed 3. Should have left the green floating just in case I missed one, but I'm pretty sure I didn't miss one. Where's our Crumbling Vestige? It's in play. Okay, that's okay. We can just play Vesuva copying it, so that's no big deal. I guess we just get Ghost Quarter here? Boros Garrison makes sense? Let's get Boros Garrison. Vesuva copying Crumbling Vestige. Man, I guess we should have just gone for the Dryad immediately. I guess our opponent does have a route to potentially winning this game because of this. We'll float the white that we need to haste. Haste our other Titan. Make some attacks here. Yeah, that's pretty awful. Battery's running low, so I better plug my computer in. 1 second. Man, that is so bad. I even remarked on how we only had 2 Summoners Packs in deck and then tried to transmute for a pack that wasn't there. Let's see. Do we even attack? I guess they're going to exile this, but then Yorion can double block with Germ to kill one of our Titans. I think that's fine, though. I'm going to swing with both. I guess if they have Path plus Yorion, we might actually lose. If we don't find a Dryad off the top, of course. Alright, so here we want a Gruel Turf and a Ghost Quarter, I suppose. And then Colony Garden and something else. Pick up the Vesuva. Yep. Take Colony Garden and guess just Forest. Or Stomping Ground, maybe. Doesn't really matter. Just take Forest. Nice and simple. We don't even have the white mana to double strike in play already, since the Garrison is in our hand now. Really getting punished also for not having one Selesnya Sanctuary in the deck as well, so maybe that's something that I should edit into the list after this league. I mean, this is the best that we got. Even if we just top deck a Dryad, we probably just win that way, so we'll see what happens. Luckily for us, unless they have exactly Yorion and some 3-drop in hand, or they just go straight to blocks. Okay. Well, we definitely need to kill the Skyclave so that it dies. So our opponent can't Yorion to blink it. If they blink it, then we get to keep this Titan. And if they don't blink it, then the Skyclave dies. So it's absolutely the correct play. Let's just yield to these. Whew. Very close. Very, very close. All right, pass it back. Opponent is alive at 6 points of life. They put in Sword of Fire and Ice. So that was the card they've been holding on to this whole time. And it was a sword. It wasn't the sword that I was thinking it might be, but they put in Yorion, blink their Stoneforge here. We're at 14, though, so I'm not super worried. I guess they could get something that can block our Titan. But that doesn't work very favorably with Trample, because we can assign lethal damage to the Stoneforge and then all the rest to them, if I'm not mistaken. So, might still be fine here with a double strike here. We'd have to Vesuva copying the Crumbling Vestige to do so. Or we could try to wait a few turns. Oh, they have the Batterskull reset as well. Okay. They get Maul of the Skyclaves. Alright. So, +2/+2 flying and first strike. On the Germ, that could be pretty daunting. Man, this is a very close match. Much closer than it should have been. With our opponent having Sword, we know that they were just dead to the Dryad, so... Oops. I'm kind of inclined to tell them that we forgot there's no third Summoners Pact, but... whatever. No point. Definitely gave our opponent a chance to be able to get out of this game alive. So if we attack, and they block with everything on the Titan, first strike damage goes through, and I get to kill, say, the Germ and the Stoneforge, but then lose the Titan also. I guess, no, first strike damage, the Germ will also do damage, so they'll be at 10. Then I can do 4 and 5, 9, 10, 11, and only get 1 point of damage through to them, plus the 3/3 Beast and the 1/1, so that's 5 points of damage, put them down to 5, and they get to keep something alive, probably the Yorion. No, I don't know. Yeah, things are slipping. I guess we still need to top deck Dryad. They have Field of Ruin also for one of our Valcuts, which is unnerving. They could also hit our Sunhome here with the Field of Ruin if they feel so inclined. I assume they're going to Stoneforge in the Maul here. Go up to 14. That is still a very Valcuttable number. Alright. Do we Trump block? It has Trample, right? Lifelink. No Trample. So yeah, let's block with the... Actually, let me... Before I start declaring any blocks, let me make sure Maul doesn't give Trample. No, flying at first strike. So we definitely want to Trump with the plant token. Okay. Let's not lose the game. We've already come far too close to that. Dryad off the top is the simplest. Dryad? Azusa. Close. Close. Not quite. That does let us get our garrison into play this turn, however, which could be quite important. If we attack into their board, they just bounce Batterskull. I guess they don't. I guess they let us kill the germ and trade with a Titan. And then this is just complicated. You should have just killed him with Dryad. So attacking with the Titan only accomplishes trading the germ for the Titan, and then they get to re-equip Batterskull or Sword, not necessarily in that order, and then start doing the thing again. I guess they equip the Batterskull first for the life gain, and that puts them up to 20. But with Azusa and Dryad in play, we might be able to kill them from that. Question is, do we attack with the Titan or not? Feel like the answer is no. See, if we attack with this and they block here, and then we can attack with the 3/3 as well, and pump that one up, and that way we trade the Titan and get a creature out of play, and also potentially kill whatever they block with. I guess they actually just don't block the 3/3 though, because it's not really important. They can just take 5 damage, even 10 damage if we double strike as well, which I don't think we can do this turn. So I guess we're just playing Garrison, picking up the Colony, playing Azusa, playing the Colony only, just for the blocker, leaving lands in hand for Dryad triggers, and passing it back. We actually can't block the germ once they put the maul on it. Pretty sad. Here comes the maul. Yep. Yep, Colony doesn't block that one anymore. Alright, we just have to top deck Dryad this upcoming turn. Man. Sucks that we're probably going to lose that mistake, unless we top deck exactly Dryad. That is the complexity of Titan, though. You gotta remember all kinds of little things. I mean, we're going to 2 here. Not much we can do about it. No blockers, so... No, we're exactly dead to the sword, so I guess we did have to attack with Titan. Alright. We lost. Would we have gotten the Dryad? Nope. Titan only. Alright, well, we're playing a game 3 here. Shouldn't be, but we are. Alright, so let's reorient ourselves here. We know about Maul and the Stoneforge. I don't think that changes anything. Explorer still doesn't seem bad here. The Fire Spout was very good. I don't think that changes anything about our deck configuration. Baloth, probably not relevant. Impulse seems like it could be good. I think we want a 3rd Impulse, perhaps, and cut one of our redundant lands, like Garenbrig, in case it does go long enough. Alright, and we'll run it this way. Maybe having the 3rd Impulse will have an impact. Alright, we'll be on the play. It's also worth noting that if we had chosen the correct target for Summoner's Pact there, we wouldn't have needed a 3rd pact. His hand's kind of slow, but it has a wilt, so I'm going to keep. Gotta play fast here. We're on 5 minutes left on the clock. Garenbrig, go. If our opponent plays something that we can wilt, then we'll wilt it, I suppose. And if not, then we'll play Talari West so we can play Dryad on 3. Othunusa. Well, I mean, we can wilt that, but I'm not going to. Technically can wilt it, though. They receive a Temple Garden off of their Oath. Cool, cool, cool. Talaria West, go. Ooh, man. Stoneforge Mystic. Well, we can wilt whatever they get with the Stoneforge. There's the other Temple Garden. They get a Sword of Fire and Ice. That's probably fine. Let's play Dryad here, since if they do Stoneforge into something, we can Rex Sage it this upcoming turn. Pass it back. Bounce Land would be a nice one. Ghost Quarter. Yikes. Knight of Autumn. To kill our Dryad? Yeah, that one's kind of brutal. Alright. Our opponent's gotten some value already. We'll take our well-deserved 1 point of damage. Land. Amulet. I'll take that. Amulet. Hold up, Wilt. Go. Now they can play land, activate Stoneforge, put in the sword, and equip it to the knight, hoping it works, and then we wilt the sword. Or they don't do any of that, you know. Make us look silly. That's cool, too. We'll cycle wilt and hopefully find a land. We do have Sage already to interact with our opponent and whatever they're doing. Assuming it's something that we can actually interact with. 4 mana. Resto Angel. No! They get to kill our Amulet. Well, let's cycle wilt in response and F6. Oh, we found a land. But they do have Ghost Quarter for this, so yeah, things looking not great for us. And our opponent has enough of a clock that we probably won't win just based on time. I think we do have to commit this Growth Chamber anyways. Garenbrig. We could play that one instead. And pact for... We could pact for Azusa. Play this, another land. They hit this with the Ghost Quarter. I think this is our only window to do so. If they have a second Ghost Quarter effect and an Arbiter, then we're in some bad shape. But we got to get some of these out of our hand here. And we got to zoom past our opponent's potential clock here. Alright, lands in play, pass it back. The Ghost Quarter this, we can still activate Garenbrig to cast Titan. Not this upcoming turn, but the turn after. Azusa lets us trade with Knight if they do attack with it, and I am willing to take that trade, I think. And they attack with just the Resto, that's cool. If they let us cast a Titan, I most certainly will. I guess they could Flicker Wisp our Bounce Man and really get us. I don't know that that would get us that bad. Ooh, we played around Archon by just going ahead and packing there, which is actually fantastic. Search. Our Forest. We'll pay. Guess we want to leave a green open. I don't really know why we would, but I guess like we could play Grazer and block. Right? Mammoth will play as a land. Pass it back. No blocks. Or no attacks. Huh. Kazandu is actually really weak to a opponent's Flicker Wisp because they flicker this land and it can't come back as a land. It just permanently gets rid of it. So. Alright, we get to play a Titan and get some Radiant Fountains here to stabilize a little bit. Fire Spout, alright. That one's actually pretty decent. We'll activate, play Titan. Into play it goes. Probably Gruul Turf and Radiant Fountain. That way we can cast our Fire Spout also. I am not going to play around anything or think any longer on it. I'm just going to do it. My gut says this is the right play, so... We can Fire Spout into Summoner's Pact for something this upcoming turn, potentially. See what our opponent's putting in with the Stoneforge. We are at the same time now, and now they're lower than us, which is nice. We have a target for our Rex Sage. So we can Fire Spout, Pact for the Dryad, and cast Reclamation Sage all in the same turn if we Fire Spout first to get rid of the Archon. Depending, of course, on whether or not they equip their Archon with the sword. If they go for the Resto, then we can get the Archon out of play. They did see Firespout in Game 2. Don't know if they will have been paying enough attention and be willing to play around it on such a time crunch. Right, they do suit up the Archon. Not looking great. So I guess our only out here is just Dryad and hope they don't have Path. Oh, wait. Wait. 5. Hold on. We need to pack during their turn to get Dryad. So we will. We'll untap. Pay for the pact, of course. Another Titan is interesting. I mean, I guess we don't have a choice but to just slam the Dryad here. Let's tap it this way, I suppose. Can't play anything else this turn anyways, so I as well just hope that this Dryad is good. Always yield. So Valakut plus Bounce Land is 2, 3, 4, 5 triggers. That should be enough to kill them if they don't have a response, so Suva copying Bounce Land at first. We'll save these targets upstairs. No Path to Exile, please. Always yes, always yield. We'll pick up the Vesuva. They haven't killed the Dryad yet, which makes me think that we are in the clear. Sure. Alright. Suva copying Gruul Turf, and then I guess we don't actually have to immediately play it as a Valakut here. We win the match. Ugh, that was closer than it needed to be. Winning against a opponent playing Taxes of all decks. It's just one of those matchups that's very tricky. It requires you to play around a lot. And small errors can add up in a matchup like that, as I just demonstrated on camera. Yeah, so we ended up 2-3 overall. Played against a couple matchups I would consider to be pretty bad. But in general, I feel like the list is functional, and if it's something that you want to put together just to get yourself introduced to Amulettitan, then I highly suggest it. Perhaps spending the money on 1 or 2 copies of Explosives is worth it, as we saw Firespout being significantly worse than Explosives several times throughout this league, including the match that we just played, actually, but also against the mono-white Hammer Time opponent, where Firespout did not deal with their suited-up creatures, and Explosives actually would have, so that's something to keep in mind. But of course, we are on a budget here, and 2-3 with a 50 ticks budget list, I mean, that's actually pretty good. If we had managed to win one of those matches, we'd be going infinite, quote-unquote, and competitive leagues playing against non-budget lists. So, one thing that I did mention a few times, and I think would be quite important, in my opinion, is to include 1 copy of Selesnya Sanctuary, as otherwise we only have 1 white source in the deck to activate things like Sunhome and Stronghold, and sometimes that can be very problematic, even though we have access to Vestige on occasion. So I do think that we should go ahead and add that. Get 1 Sanctuary in here, and cut something. Probably a Garen Brig. I felt like Garen Brig was a little clunky in this list. Yeah, I think that's what I would do, is get 1 white source in here. It seems very important. Anyways, let me know what you think. What changes would you make to this deck list? If you do decide to try it, or any of my other budget lists, then let me know how it goes for you in the comments below. I'm always looking for feedback. And yeah, I have nothing else to say. This is Red Face Menace, signing off.